Hi, I'm Ingrid Rizzolo, and it's time for my talk. Today I will talk about the Harry-Meghan interview, a royal unmasking of palace and press. I was not really interested in the monarchy until Meghan. To me, the monarchy were like dolls packed away for posterity. Then there came Meghan, bringing Hollywood type animation to this bunch. Her arrival seemed to signal to blacks in Britain and to the Commonwealth and in the Commonwealth countries that change and equity and acceptance had come to the monarchy. Disappointingly, time proved this to be a mere facade. Initial sighs at the perceived beautiful fairy tale in the making when Meghan Markle married her Prince Harry quickly dwindled. We were robbed of the fairy tale ending as we hoped for. Around the time of the coupling, I noted in my blog that Meghan was making a courageous move. I did not envisage the accuracy of the prediction, which subsequently played out in real time. What played out in real time was a union assailed by a savagery set in motion from the moment Europe set foot in Africa. At that precise moment, perceptual imbalances were initiated, the ripples of which have been and are being felt continuously across the world. So, in marrying into the monarchy, Meghan Markle faced something bigger than herself. She faced a savagery that always existed beneath the veneer of propriety projected by the monarchy and the press, its structural support base. Oh, yes, the Duchess of Sussex, upon entering the monarchy, was a black girl pitted against age old prejudiced perceptions embedded at the apex of British society. But perhaps Meghan's entry signaled that a time for change had come. Was Meghan a means of catalyzing that change? Then, perhaps the series of conflicts that ensued were demonstrative of an institution that was fighting against inevitable change that the moment required. The Meghan Harry interview ricocheted across England, across the Commonwealth, and across the world. A collective gasp was heard. The Commonwealth, especially, have long waited with bated breath for change to be effected upon this mythical white elephant. A white elephant that had been maintained at the expense of their plunder for eons. The issue of fatherhood was unmasked in a senior royal's behavior. Prince Harry complained that his father cut him off. He was completely cut off financially after he stepped back from the royal duties in early 2020. Now, this is a cruel act. And for a son to reveal this publicly tells us of the extreme nature of his hurt. But when he said, I've got what my mom left me, and without that, we would not have been able to do this, I recognized these words as the words of a bleeding heart. By what stretch of imagination is a father cutting off his son an image of wholesome fatherhood? Family, author of Royalty Inc., admitted that it's Prince Charles's money, so he gets to choose how he spends it. However, how could he spend that money in support of himself and his other son and that son's family while Harry was cut off? Here. Where is their wholesomeness in the image of fatherhood projected by the monarchy here? Harry himself presents the more admirable image of fatherhood, one that is worthy of emulation as he sacrifices all for the well-being of his family. Said they pleaded with the royal family to pay for security for them and their son. only to be refused each time.
He won't be given security. He's not going to be given a title.
Put the life of your young grandson at risk. Police has already been called to their home 9 times in 9 months. Is this how you want your grandson to remember you? Is this the kind of identity that should be held for embrace by Britons? How could this be a source of national pride? It's about being wholesome fatherhood. It's about being protector, about dependability in all circumstances, about involvement in your son's life, about compassion and empathy, and about just being a good human to your son. Continued, and it unmasked the bigotry and racial intolerance in the ranks of royalty. Well, questions about skin color are made on racist assumptions. Are a source of pride. British, for whom the royals are a source of pride, I ask, how could bigotry pride? The Duchess of Sussex revealed that senior royals discussed her son's skin color and also had concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Harry confirmed that someone had expressed a worry about what will the kids look like. Who are you fooling? Questions of skin color are rooted in assumptions of race. Behind these inquiries are assumptions of racial inferiority in relation to skin color. Monarchy, a byproduct of colonialism and imperialism spearheaded by none other than the British monarchy. How is it hard to believe the possibility of racism in the ranks of the royals for centuries, when for centuries they dealt and benefited from colonialism and chattel slavery? While some members may have evolved from positions held by their ancestors, it is farcical to act now like the British monarchy and empire, which was built on views of ethnic inferiority of other races, cannot be racist. One Lady Catherine, lurking on the outskirts of the courts of Windsor, reports that the person who made these claims was Princess Anne. I, however, feel otherwise. I feel that Princess Anne is staged as the fall guy for the offender, as the offender has more to lose and cannot afford to have his or her image tarnished at this point. Where's wholesomeness here? All I see is dirty laundry that needs to be cleaned up. And Monaco, whose mother too was an outsider, said that he understands the pressures, but that this kind of discussion should be held in the family. How dare he? Trying to now you are guilty of using the psychology of the perpetrator class, trying to convince the pained victim it was all your fault. And if you tell, you could ruin the family. Recognize, dear Prince of Monaco, that these fault lines need to be addressed, or over time, it could result in the collapse of this colossus. Another issue that was revealed in the interview was the hypocrisy that lies in the monarchy. Life in the palace with outsider navigating life in the palace within the British caste system, with Harry as her only support, Meghan was obviously overwhelmed. In addition to this, she was facing a battle waged against her by a hostile press, a press that is fiercely supportive and protective of the law of the monarchy. Consequently, she became traumatized to the point of suicide ideation. Said, I just didn't want to be alive anymore. Then to Meghan, the options were pay with your life or hastily escape from the Dark Tower. And who could blame her? At one point, she asked a senior royal about the possibility of seeking inpatient care and was told that that wouldn't be good for the institution. was man made for the institution or the institution for man? At one point in the interview, Harry admitted, "I feel really let down." Well, so do I. How disingenuous an institution. The Meghan-Harry interview uncovered the hypocrisy and insincerity that lies at the heart of the monarchy. Allowed to talk about her mental Why wasn't Meghan allowed to talk about her mental illness issues when in 2017 the royals began a charitable campaign called Heads Together to tackle the stigma and change the conversation on mental health? Was this patronage a cheap play to court media worship? Hypocrisy is astounding. Then there is the media, which compounded the situation. The media seemed to have a Meghan fixation themselves to as if by instinct the media was tripping over themselves to project the stereotypical image of the angry black woman. How dare she not fit into the image of the contented darky of Shirley Chisholm 1965 Senate speech fame? As they blasted the newly minted Duchess, they were willing to contort themselves to defend the glamorous royals. The media smear campaign was relentless, and since British palates had been fed over time with a particular view of blacks, and they expected no less from the press on issues of race, the press was able to enroll them in their campaign to besmirch Markle's character. Almost according to USA Today, when Meghan 7% felt that Harry-Meghan interview was inappropriate. On the other hand, few questioned the validity of the media's report when it said that Meghan had bullied her staff and made her sister-in-law cry. However, when Meghan tells the narrative in reverse, did they believe her? Would they believe her? Meghan rightly claimed she was unfairly treated by the media. But why, when both duchesses can be considered social climbers, not of royal birth, are the ones who got their princes? What is the difference between the two of them? Of how Harry's wife is portrayed in the media as opposed to Kate, William's wife, speaks volumes. BuzzFeed comparisons demonstrate this. Royal cash in. Harry and made. Kate and Will Inc. secretly set up companies to protect their brand just like the Beckhams. Now that was praiseworthy. See the contrast now. A royal cash in. Harry and Meghan trademark over 100 items 6 months before they left the monarchy. Another headline, this time the Express, about Meghan Markle's well-loved avocado. Meghan's beloved avocado is linked to human rights abuse, drought, and millennium shame. William was gifted with an avocado for his pregnant wife. Listen to the tone. For one, avocado was a shameful thing, and for the other one, it was praiseworthy. Again, going back to the Daily Mail, talking about two instances of pregnancy. Pregnant Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump. Listen, there is none of the vitriol that comes after in the description of Meghan Markle. His image is that age-old Meghan Markle take her hands off her baby bump. Is it pride, acting, or new age bonding technique? Thank God. Imagery unmasked the Iago spirit resident in the core of the press. From this core position, they manipulated the people's fear of black ascension to bring about the downfall of Meghan and Harry. But Harry, the white Othello, did not fall for it. Thank God. But perhaps a day of reckoning has come for both monarchy and press. Perspective on Meghan. Journal called the conversation reports that in response to the interview with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and their claims that they were being racist in the treatment of tabloids, one media executive director claimed that the UK media is not bigoted. The uproar that ensued resulted in this director's resignation. Morgan, who shielded his brand of racism behind the mantra of free speech, had to walk away from his ITV station as a result of his bigoted attack on Meghan Markle. A reported 41,000 complaints from the public followed his sexist and racist invective on Meghan. Sharon Osbourne, his friend who defended him, suffered a similar fate. She, expecting obeisance by her black colleague and not finding it, overplayed her hand and was subsequently dismissed from the talk.
It appears that you give safe haven to something that he has uttered that is racist.
I'm racist. Is that what you're saying? I will ask you again, Cheryl, and don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me.
The interview seemed to have really stirred up the hornet's nest, bringing upon the royals and the press alike a day of reckoning. This is a different moment. The Duchess, by speaking up, is taking her life back. She's taking her power back as well as her autonomy and her agency. But, as is typical, the perpetrators and others will continue to try to convince the world that it was all Markle's fault, or that the atrocities she spoke of never happened. Well, it's the nature of the subjugated dynamic. Respect for her courageous attempts to put to stop that subjugation by dealing with this difficult situation in a way that would have otherwise led to a decimation of the South. Now is a moment of new histories. New histories should be created and argued for. The past and the present are and were inaccurate. But let us fix the future. It's the moment to fix that. This may be an uncomfortable moment, but let the fallout from this interview be a stone in the proverbial pond whose ripples are felt across the world and all its institutions. Without doubt, it's a day of reckoning for the monarchy and the press that supports it. A time for change has come. This is the moment. I salute this Black Duchess for catalyzing this change, long waited for by the Commonwealth and indeed by the world. I am Ingrid Rizzolo, and this has been my talk. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye for now.